Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley. Welcome back to my channel. Have you wanted to conquer the shell stitch but weren't sure where to start? Here is a very easy beginner shell stitch with vertical columns that I think you're going to love. So I have chained on or cast on. I've made a chain of multiple of 6 plus 3. So I did chain of 6, chain of 6, chain of 6, chain of 6, and then added 3 more. So in the 6th chain from the hook, we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the 6th chain from the hook, we are placing 5 double crochets. I love this pattern because it starts right away. No foundation stitches there. We are going right into the shell right away. So a shell is when you place multiple complete stitches all in one stitch or space. So if it's incomplete stitches, then you tie them all together and make a cluster or a decrease, but we're actually increasing. So look, we have 5 now, 5 double crochets in one stitch. So that is a shell. Okay, usually shells are an odd number. We're going to skip 1, 2 chains, skip 1, skip 2, and in the third one, in the next one, we are going to double crochet. Just 1 double crochet. It makes the vertical column. That is the hallmark of this shell stitch. Okay, so skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. Stay tuned, make sure you watch all the way to the end because I'm going to show you how to end off and make the irregular edge flat. So hang in there with me. So we're doing another shell now. In every pattern, the shell stitch is a little bit different. So a shell is just that grouping of stitches all in one stitch or space. So you need to check your pattern specifications to see what the author is considering a shell. For me, for this pattern, a shell is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets all in one stitch or space. So make sure if you are reading a pattern, we're going to skip 2, 1, 2 on our chain, and in the next one we are going to place a double crochet. So when you're writing or reading a pattern, make sure you don't just assume that you know what they mean by shell. Skip 1, 2 chains, and in the next one we're placing another shell. Because shells could be a wide variety of things, but it's always a cluster of, and I use the word cluster to mean a grouping of stitches all in one stitch or space, and they are complete stitches, not a tying together of stitches. So anyway, if you're new to crochet, you don't even need to know about that right now. You just need to know that for this pattern, a shell is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets in one spot. So we're completing this repeat. There's 1 chain here, there's 1 chain here. We're skipping both of those, and in the next one we are double crocheting. So we're alternating shells of 5. So you might see it abbreviated as a 5 DC or 5 double crochet shell, or it might just say shell, and in the special stitches of your pattern it'll say what that means. Skip 1, 2 and do the shell. So in the special stitches of a written pattern it will say shell equals 5 double crochets in one stitch or space. If the shell is different, it'll say shell equals and then what it is for that pattern. So welcome. I hope you're having a relaxing and valuable use of your day. You know, I love to spend my day crocheting. It makes me feel so productive. This would make a great blanket. We're left with 3 chains left, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to skip 1 and 2. And in the third, the last chain, we are placing a double crochet. This would make an amazing blanket. It would make a very nice scarf as well. So I think this is an excellent baby blanket idea or grown-up blanket idea. I know I have someone in mind who wanted an easy shell pattern to make with a Lion brand thick and quick wool ease. So this is great. Okay, so on the next row, we have chained 3, which counts as the first double crochet, so it counts as this column. We're going to skip 1 stitch, 2 stitches, and then the next stitch, the middle stitch of that 5 double crochet shell, the middle one, we're going to place 5 double crochets. So it is the same shell. There's only 1 shell in this pattern. It is a 5 double crochet shell. It is possible for patterns to sometimes have more than 1 shell, and sometimes they will call them a large shell and a small shell, and they will define each of them specifically in the special stitches. Now we are not chaining at all. We are skipping these 2 stitches, and in this double crochet here, this column, this single one, this lone wolf sitting here all by itself, there will be a double crochet. So we are stacking shells on top of shells and double crochets on top of double crochets. So no chains in between. So no more chaining, except when we do our chain 3 and turn at the end and beginning of the row. Okay? Let's see, what else is going on in life? Okay, here we go. Please leave me a comment. Please do a like and subscribe. Okay, I want to just give you this one more row and get us started on the next row. So if you have made a mistake and you only had 4 double crochets instead of 5, for example. So the most common mistake that would happen with this particular pattern is either you skip the double crochet, you're like, oop, it skipped, or you didn't do it, or when you do your shell, you only did 4 instead of 5. You lost count. You just got distracted. The phone rang, the doorbell rang, something happened. So for example, if we accidentally did 4 and we did our double crochet here at the end, in the turning chain 3 from the previous row, and did 1, 2, 3 turn. So we'd only have 4. So our choices here are to either rip back and fix it, or to split the shell and place 5 double crochets in between the 2 and 2. So I would recommend that you rip all the way back, make sure that you add your 5th double crochet there so that it is correct. And you shouldn't ever really have a mistake that is more than 1 row below, because you'll find it like on the return. So go ahead and fix those mistakes if you can so that you'll be happier. It's not a huge deal, but it is a mistake that you can fix like on the next row, which is another reason why this is a really easy project. And worst case scenario, you only have to rip out 1 row, maybe 2 if you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the previous row. Anyway, so we're just repeating that row over and over again. So at the end of the row, we have a chain 3 and turn, and go back, and you're stacking your 5 double crochet shells in the middle stitch of the previous one. Now for our very final row, if you don't want this scalloped edge to just fasten off and have this pretty little edge, which I happen to love, but if you want to even it out and make it more flat so that it's similar to the bottom flatness here, one of the things that you can do is chain 1 and turn, and this is just for the cap. This is just the cap at the top of the chimney. So you only do this row once. You're going to single crochet in the first stitch. You're going to chain 2, skip 2 double crochets, and in the third one, instead of doing a shell of 5 double crochet, you're just going to single crochet 1 time. And then chain 2 to span the gap, single crochet in the double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 double crochets, and single crochet in the next. So you're just really making a topper, a lid, a cap, a hat, whatever you want to call it, to even out the top so that you don't have the scalloped edge, but instead you have an edge that is more symmetrical, more similar to the edge at the bottom. So I hope you have loved this little demonstration of the vertical shells pattern, and tell me what you'd like to do with it in the comments below. So we will just finish up with a single crochet in the turning chain at the end and fasten off. Thanks so much. See you next time.